At best, the alien abduction phenomenon is a terrifying, traumatic experience. At its worst, well, we think they sometimes take people and don't put them back.
I lost my mother and brother to this trauma. He murdered her, then killed himself.
These women are being used as human incubators, with all their children stolen away into the night.
A 6-foot-tall entity of blue-white light paralyzed me, then bent down and said into my ear, "Hi, Steve." It knew my name.
We hear gruesome stories of experiments and dissections. Imagine dying on a metal table while paralyzed, surrounded by alien faces. It's a real horror story. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our show on Gnostic TV Network, Abductions 101, UFOs and the Paranormal Connection. I'm your host, Leslie Shaw.
I'm Stephen Shaw.
And we're going to, in a few minutes, we'll introduce our wonderful guest, Cyndi Sapp of the Coven of Curiosities podcast. In the meantime, we always start the show with one of our personal experiences, and Stephen wants to share one that happened to his mother.
Yes, this happened sometime in the 70s, and my mom grew up in wartime England. Actually, she was almost hit by ball lightning when she was 13, about 1947, in a rainstorm.
Wow, that's so rare.
Which is very curious to start with.
Yeah.
But anyways, so she would spend, late nights watching TV and sleep on the couch quite a bit at the Fallbrook house. And one night she woke up and she said she was definitely awake, and up in the corner of the roof there, she saw what she called a space spider.
Up on the ceiling, you mean? Oh.
Yeah, near the beams. There was she called it she always referred to it as like a spider.
A space spider?
Yeah, it was it was this basically, it was shimmery again, and it was spider-like, and it was just floating there, and it was kind of moving around, and she was just, tried to clear her eyes, and it was just there. And then after a while, it just went back into the wall and just disappeared. And my mom was very, as you know my mom. She was one of these no nonsense people, and she'd seen so much stuff as a child, growing up in England between her mom and her aunt and all that kind of stuff. Weird things happened that she said this just another thing that we experienced.
Weird things happen, huh?
Yeah, so that was another thing that happened, So.
Another thing I'd like to say, whenever I hear this, the family describe something as shimmery, I think we're talking about memory tampering. I think it's probably an alien abduction event, because we know they happened to the family for many generations, and we think that that's what happens to the memories. They end up getting covered up with a different memory and become kind of shimmery when they're recalled, almost twinkly.
Yeah, my mom would have been in her late 30s, very early 40s when she saw the space spider, so probably late 30s.
All right, well, thanks for sharing, and we'll be back in just a moment when we'll introduce our wonderful guest for tonight.
Okay.
And welcome back, everyone. This is our wonderful guest, Cyndi Sapp of the Coven of Curiosities podcast. She's the host and creator, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And it's almost it's been going on for almost a year now. She's got her 1-year anniversary coming up. So you're gonna you were saying you don't have anything special planned at the moment, but it's coming up, right? You have to do a post with balloons and a little.
Yeah. I don't know yet what I've got going on yet. I know I've just been super busy with so many other things. I haven't really thought about it. You actually just kind of reminded me that I'm coming up on my ear. So yeah, it'll be exciting.
Now you're actually on television now. So tell us about that transition. That's important.
Yeah, so it's an interesting transition. I was actually a guest on someone else's podcast, and it was the Sinister Sisters, and they were on Channel 12 TV network. And then they invited me on as a guest. And so I was a guest and stuff. We had a great time. And then the gentleman, my now new boss, Randy, or they call him Rockin' Randy. He actually reached out to me and asked for me to come on as a guest co-host on his own show. And so I was like, okay, sure.
Wonderful.
So I went on as a guest co-host. It was a great show. We had a blast. And he invited me on then to the NCI, which is the North Carolina Investigators show. So now I'm actually part of that team. There's
That's so good.
I think
That's
there's
so
like
cool.
10 of us now. So it's,
Right.
it's getting bigger. This is a huge channel. They're spread out throughout the United States. They have over 70 million viewers. So, it's going to be good exposure. And plus, I'm having such a great time with the guys that I have the show with. And then Randy just asked me to be his host on Body Slam and Conversations. So that's just recent. So I'm excited about that. He's like, let's bring some guests on. I'm like, okay, I gotcha.
That's wonderful.
Did you say 17 or 70 million?
70 million
70
that actually
million?
view. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
the
better
numbers.
than NBC.
Well, that's the
Quite
number he
impressive.
gave me. So, because it's on Amazon Fire TV, Google Chrome TV, iPhone, Android TV. Like it's on so many streaming.
It's a composite then. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
It's like a Netflix, but it streams on different types of TV
Platforms.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows that are kind of hybrids of on regular television as well. Like we're with the Gnostic TV network, and the reason they called it the TV network is it used to be on TV. It was on Roku for a while, but they now it's not. It's actually just streaming now. But like I said, these hybridizations are common these days.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some really good ideas coming up too, as far as we move up to talking to you about in the future too.
Yeah. We want to do like a virtual event, where
like Alien Con or like Contact in the Desert.
Yeah, but people don't have to travel or and they pay
really
for
good
bad
idea.
food, high prices for bad food.
Right. And that's the same thing too for the speakers. It just makes it a lot more convenient.
Yeah.
Now, so your regular podcast, it dove specifically into legends and lores and mysticism, and like in the darker corners of the unknown, as you called it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, have you translated that same theme directly into your show as well?
Slowly but surely getting there. I've done a lot of paranormal episodes. And then I decided that I needed to do some other episodes and on other topics because that's what my podcast is about. So I actually reached out. Somebody had emailed me. She is a writer, director, and producer of The Haunting of Hollywood. And she saw my logo on her feed. And she went to my page, checked it out, and she's like, I want to be on her podcast. So the movie is out. You can watch it for free on Momito. And I had them on. I had the director and the main actress on. So that was really a big thing for me. I've never done a movie or had a director, on. So that was just phenomenal. And it's bringing really, it's bringing really positive things my way. I actually also got an email for Bold Journey magazine. They reached out to me and they wanted to interview me for being an entrepreneur and someone that's creative. So that's coming out here soon. So that's got wrapped up and finalized. I'm just waiting for them to actually publish it. So they'll notify me when it's ready. And then I started my short stories too. So my short stories are about cryptids. I just actually edited one today before the show. So anxious to get that one out because I never heard of this cryptid before. It's in
really?
Ireland.
Which one is it? Which kind is it?
It's in Ireland. It's one of their folklore, and it's called the puco or puke. I always said it wrong. It's interesting, but it's a little creature. It can be a negative or positive. In my story, it turns out to be a positive cryptid instead of evil.
Right.
But I am going to get eventually to my darker side of things. Eventually, so we'll see. But yes, I am trying to do other topics other than paranormal. I've got a couple of people coming on. We're going to talk about Bigfoot and the Dog Man. So I'm really excited about those
How
and
do you
everything.
spell that? Puka or whatever it was.
PUC. I actually just had it up too. PUCA. I'm trying to remember here. It's like puking, puka. He's an interesting little creature, I will say. I found some photos on, we go to the images online, and sorry, I'm trying to get it for you guys because it's I just Googled, I put in like ancient Ireland folklore, and I just Googled it and it pulled up different like cryptids, and I was like, oh, that one's kind of interesting. So I decided to do that one for one of my short stories. But here it is. Sorry. It is PU. Sorry, PUCA, but it's puka. It's like you're gonna puke.
So, you remember there's a movie called
Harvey.
And he pronounced it puka, but it was like a
6.5 feet tall.
Tall, invisible rabbit that this guy was friends with.
Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, and it reminded me of that. I have a book on Irish folklore, illustrations from Irish folklore too.
Really?
A lot of the Tuatha De Danann stuff comes from that era. The heroes who had magical weapons, And,
oh yeah.
And they're the ones that are supposed to have gone underground and become like the fairy folk.
Okay.
The fairy folk of Ireland are not Tinkerbelly, they're more like
red-haired, mostly red-haired.
Kind of like the elves in Tolkien's, thing is where
tall,
tall, stately,
slender,
and kind of glowing
with magical powers
and light in their skin and stuff, light in their faces. Yeah, that's kind of where his stories came from. Their
that's
own
right.
folklore
The language,
of the area.
the language, and the stories, and they're going underground in the underground realm.
Yeah,
they call them the she, although they pronounce it. That's the pronunciation is she, but it's spelled like Sidhe or something like that.
Like,
it has
interesting.
Like city, but it's pronounced she.
Yeah.
Huh.
And,
no, I always try to think outside the box when I'm, doing my short stories. I just, research, something that maybe nobody's heard before or hasn't heard in a long time. Right. So that's why when I did my research, I was like, oh, I've never heard of this little creature before, So I was like, well, I'm not turning it into a short story.
We did a Christmas episode with the host of Dairyland Frights. His name is John Radke, and he did all this research and had this fabulous Christmas show. And then it was right before Christmas. I realized I hadn't done anything for Christmas, and I said, well, the best thing to do is bring someone on that did do it, right? Did do the work.
There you go.
Yes. So we brought him on, and his the stuff he dug up on the Christmas myths from all around Europe was really interesting. So bizarre, and frequently it was like an ogre or something that would take the children that were naughty, or it wasn't
Not the Krampus?
folk tales of the past are a lot scarier.
It wasn't just Krampus, in other words.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Krampus too, but
Yeah.
like I wish I could remember the names. Some of them had really bizarre names. Like there's this trio of them. One's called Lick Spoon, I think, and one's called
Right.
Bowl Scraper or whatever. They're like, if you leave your stuff in your pans and pots, they'll come along and lick it, for you.
Yeah, they're not quite. They're not quite the brown fairies that that they're a little different.
Yeah. Like the brownies too. Everyone wants a brownie because they come and clean for you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I wish I want one for
so
real.
he really did some digging.
Mm-hmm.
He really did, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember all their names, but there were a lot of cool.
It's been a while. So did you have some questions for her?
Oh yes. Well, I wanted to find out what was been going on because you said you were so busy, but I also wanted to ask about one of the experiences you talked about. You said you had a visitation from a family member, your grandfather, I believe, right? And
when I was a
played
kid,
music for you too, or something.
Yeah,
I was all about that experience. So.
Yeah, that was my first time experiencing something paranormal. I was between 7 and 8. This is what I can remember. I know I was in elementary school, and we lived in Poway, California, and the house that we lived in, my room was actually the den. So it was like the double doors, and that's just what I remember,
Right.
So there was my great grandfather had passed away, and it was I want to say about a month later. But I was sleeping, and I happened to wake up, and I heard his ukulele, the music. And because when we would have family gatherings, that's what he would do, is he would always bring his ukulele. He would sit on a little certain spot by the fireplace and play, songs, and we would all sit and enjoy it because, he was very musically inclined, you can say. But I just remember going out to the living room, and I didn't see anyone else, but I saw him as clear as day, sitting there playing the ukulele, and I was just ecstatic. I was like, oh my gosh, Grandpa's here,
He's still here.
And being a kid, it wasn't clicking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just saw Grandpa. He was always so good to us kids. And so I just sat on the couch and, literally could see him clear as day. And then the next morning, my mom woke up and she went to my room, noticing that I'm not in there. And she's like calling for me, and she comes out to the living room, and she's like, what are you doing on the couch? And I'm like, Grandpa came. I was all excited. And she goes, no, honey, no. She goes, he's passed away. And I'm like, no, he was here. I was very adamant that I saw Grandpa. So yeah, that was my first experience.
If you could, at least for me and our audience, remind is what time of the day and maybe what year it was and how many times it happened, and were you the only one that witnessed this?
Yeah. So I was, like I said, I mentioned I was between 7 and 8. I'm 53. So, go back a few years. It's in the 70s. So, and I was in elementary school and everything, but it only happened that one time. And
you never saw him again or felt him again after that?
No, not after. No, just that one time. But that's when I had my very first experience of actually seeing. I mean, he was literally, for me, he was there clear as day, like he had passed. So that was my first experience.
And what time of the day was this? Was this nighttime
in the
or
evening?
daytime?
In the evening. Yeah, we were all in bed. Yeah.
Did you have any inkling? Let's say maybe a day or two ahead of time, for instance, you heard some sounds or some things like dreams that might have given you a hint that he was going to or something strange was going to happen?
So being that young, I was the oldest sibling out of my siblings and my cousins. So I was always constantly babysitting and, taking care of my siblings or my cousins, and always, doing chores. So when I think back then, I was such a busy child. trying to be an older child because of the responsibilities I had.
Right.
I don't recall, I might have, but I don't recall that. I just recall waking up to music. And I was like, like that sounds like grandpa. And I got up, it just didn't faze me because that's grandpa's music. Grandpa's here, and so I don't know if I was sleepwalking. All I know is I just remember waking up, going out there and seeing him playing and I've told this story many, many times, and I don't it's always stayed the same because that's exactly what I'm telling you, exactly what I remember.
Right.
And I was just so excited and to see him. And that was my first time seeing someone in a casket, especially a family member.
Successfully passed on after that, he didn't get stuck in the house as a forever ghost, a forever haunting.
Yeah,
I think that happens
like
with
a
loved ones.
reoccurring entity.
I think they do hang kind of close to us until maybe it's time for them.
Well,
to
you had an
moving
emotional
on,
bond to your grandpa because your grandpa liked you, right?
Yeah,
my being the eldest of three, so I understand the having to be like
the
the
responsible
responsible
one.
one, that kind of stuff, so I understand that.
Yeah, no, I was always responsible. If they got hurt, I got in trouble. So why aren't you watching
you're in the
kid?
command? It's your fault, no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was my first experience.
So I'm interested in your Bigfoot shows too that you've been working on, right?
Yeah, so it's a new adventure for me. Let's see, I've been on the show now. Well, the first time I was on, I was supposed to be a guest, and they were going to ask me questions and then I would answer. Well, I kind of turned it around and I ended up being the host and asking them a bunch of questions because I was very curious about Bigfoot and I wanted to ask some things I've always been curious about. So, and they loved it. They actually really loved it. And so they asked me to come back on, and they just ended up making me a member of the NCI team. And so now I'm known as, not as Cyndi, I'm known as Giggles on the show because each of us has a nickname. So, yeah. No, I love it because they all love my laugh and I make them laugh more. So, so, but no, it's a good show. I love it.
Oh, sorry. You knew our Bigfoot theory, right? I don't know if we talked about it on the show when we were on Cyndi's show in September. And we had such a good time. It's always nice to talk to like-minded people. And our Bigfoot theory is that the aliens that are flying the UFOs in our skies, we don't call them aliens because we believe they're a branch of humanity that broke away from us, thousands of years ago. And we think they're actually creating a lot of these hybrids that people are seeing because they don't have any qualms about using genetic engineering for when they need certain jobs done, So they make these hybrid cryptid creatures that people just spot once in a blue moon because they're working in league with them. So it's not like they're just living in our environments, like regular animals do.
So one of the jobs for the big feet or the Bigfoot, the Yeti or the Yahweh or Sasquatch, one of the jobs seems to be relatively like as a sentry or a protector or a guardian of certain territories. That seems to be one of their jobs. They're not inherently mean or nasty to humans unless they have to be.
Yeah, they'll protect territory pretty viciously.
But like with anything else, you're going to get better and worse. We met a very nice couple on July the 4th of last year, Native American Athabascan couple that they were
Uh-huh.
selling hand tied fishing ties and fishing lures, right? Primarily for freshwater fishing. And this guy said with a straight face and said, I've met Bigfoot 3 times. And the last time I was on a 15-hand horse and And he's a pretty big guy, this guy was, and they were just like right at eye level, and like means he was 8 or 9 feet taller, around about
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, the
And-
Native Americans have a whole different take on
Yeah,
Bigfoot.
they call them the men of the mountains or whatever it may be, and they don't look upon them as being, scary or something to be feared. They look at them as part of like they're ancient brothers,
Yeah.
So
It's interesting because everybody, has their different theories and about them, and their thoughts, opinions, and everything. And I respect everybody's because we're entitled to, think and feel how we want. The gentlemen though that are on the show, they're out in the woods quite often. One of them actually lives. His backyard is like 10 yards away from the Appalachian Mountains. So he is right next door to it. So
right in Bigfoot country, yeah.
Oh yeah. So he gets a lot of activity. The guys have brought on like castings of feet and everything. And one of the gentlemen that's on, Harley Owens, he brought on, when I was on there the first time as a guest, his foot that he brought on, I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was like 18 inches long. It was huge. I had never seen anything so big. And you can see the casting of the toes, where the toes would be, and the part of their, I forgot what they call it, but it's the part of their foot. And then arch. You can see the heel.
They don't have like a high arch like we do.
No, they're flatter. They're flatter,
yes.
And their toes deflect in a different way, so they are able to like climb hills quicker than we can. With their toes.
And we've heard on our show at least 3 instances where people say they've been either been in themselves in psychic communication with, or had people as guests on their podcast that had that happen to them. It seems like there's a Bigfoot might be telepathic and able to communicate that way with us.
Yeah, no, it's been talked about on our show as well. Yeah. There's all kinds of, we're still in a lot of discussion about, Bigfoot and everything, and they're always going out, going on their little wood adventures is what I call them. But they all, the guys go together, and there's one of them, Harley, he usually goes out by himself, and we're like, you really need to take someone with you just on the safe side. So,
for insurance reasons, if no other reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. But, on this show, I've been not just learning about Bigfoot. I've been learning about so many other things. Been talking about last night, and actually tonight, we're going to be talking about a wood witch. We had some pictures that were shown last night, and they were very disturbing, very scary looking. She was, and so we talk about all kinds of different cryptids besides Bigfoot and everything, because they're just, and we've one of the guys, actually Harley, he's got a really good picture of the Dogman. Literally you could see it clear as day, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, cool. Can you send it to us and I can splice it into the show? Maybe.
As of right now, I think he's actually in the process of moving, so he's not actually attending the show tonight. But I'm going to have him on my show. I can introduce you guys to him, and maybe you can have him on your show.
If you'd share that with, we'd be happy to share it in your show too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take a quick break, and then I want to hear all about, when we come back, I want to hear what a wood witch is. All right. So
okay.
10 seconds.
Yeah, we'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
Good evening. Are you wondering if the UFO phenomenon is real?
Are you wondering who is flying the UFOs in our skies?
Are you wondering if aliens are really abducting people?
Then you need to read this book.
The book is titled Who They Are and What They're Up To.
Find out the true identity of the aliens.
Learn a very brief history of the UFO cover-up.
Find out where the aliens are hiding.
Find out why our government is in league with them.
Learn about their bizarre hybrid breeding program.
Find out why their technology is 13,000 years ahead of ours.
The reference section of this book alone is worth the price.
Again, that was Who They Are and What They're Up To by Leslie and Stephen Shaw.
Now available on Amazon and coming soon in the Spanish and Czech languages.
And soon to be in English and Spanish audiobook.
With a new foreword by fellow author and abductee Karen Wilkinson.
Again, that was Who They Are and What They're Up To by Leslie and Stephen Shaw, now available on Amazon. And we're back. So I want to find out from our guest, Cyndi Sapp. I'm so sorry, dear.
No, it's
Cyndi
okay.
Sapp from the Coven of Curiosities podcast. And she was going to tell us what a wood witch is.
So what I learned is that a wood witch is actually very negative. And where she went on to someone's property that's near the Appalachian Mountains, or where the line is. I forgot what they call it. It's a lateral line or something like that.
Mason-Dixon?
Mason-Dixon?
Yes. So, but what they are negative, and what they try to do is they try to get you to get them to come in. They try to get you to, come on in.
Invite them in, right.
Yeah, to invite them in. But that you don't ever want to do that. And the photos so it was this person that has a piece of property, and she was at home with her daughter, and they got a knock at the door around 10:30 at night. And they were like, okay, who could be possibly here? Well, they have, like a green cam, so, they can capture. So they were talking to this lady that was outside, and she kept saying, I need help. Can you let me in? And she's all hunched over initially. And then she slowly, you can see that, because we were only able to get pictures, but you can tell the snippets of the pictures she's like raising. When it showed her face, I actually started getting sick. I lost my breath. I got super nervous. I couldn't look at her anymore. Like, you could feel the energy of just something very evil. And there was another photo of her really super up close. I can only look at that photo for a split second, but I could hear the guys, because I covered my eyes. The guys were saying, oh my gosh, you can see she's got black eyes.
I was going to say, it sounds like the black-eyed children that people report too. The same menacing feel,
Yeah.
And where they're trying to get let in, please let us in, please, we're hungry, or we need help, or something like that. Yeah. And apparently, when somebody is foolish enough to open the door and let them in, they actually get attacked, like physically attacked. And one of our guests about 2 weeks ago was talking about that they'd had a guest on their podcast where they did a lot of research on it, and this was one of the stories about it, where this family let him in, and the father, rushed to help his wife in one room, and then as he's helping her with her injuries, somebody screams in another room, and they rush in there, and they're injured, and they one at a time got all three other family members before bolting out of the house, and they all had injuries that had to be treated and stuff.
There's usual residual effects that occur after that, because once they have injured you or they've attached somehow to you, there's usually residual stuff that happens, later on. It is almost like you almost have to have like an exorcism to get rid of the encounter. So
that's what it was.
A good saging, at least, right?
Yeah. There was discussion last night on the show that to cover up the windows and any mirrors that, could be reflective outside or whatever, because sometimes people will have a mirror hanging up and you can see it from looking in their window. So it was discussed last night to cover up the windows so that they can't see the reflection. So that was new to me, but I had recommended to put salt around the house because that's another way. And then to obviously do a protection spell and to sage.
Yeah.
But another teammate had mentioned to cover up the windows and any mirrors that they could possibly, look into the window, and something to do with the reflection. So that was new to me.
And I think when people are actually being attacked or under the influence of these creatures, sometimes we've heard of a couple of incidents where people invoke the name Jesus Christ or some positive God energy of some kind, for assistance. And then sure enough, it works. They back away and leave. So, well,
it creates a different vibrational quality in the physical body. When you actually go into called the Jesus or the Christ consciousness,
or
it actually causes
realms,
a different vibrational feeling in your body. So what that does, it basically it's almost like they're saying, surrounding your body with white light. Literally, if you are in that state, you literally do surround yourself with a different auric field, and that auric field becomes protective.
Yeah.
When we were studying with the Gnostics at one point, they taught us that when you're astral traveling, it's actually important for your soul's evolution to learn to astral travel and learn about the universe through yourself. Explore it yourself.
And the Akashic records, yes.
Yeah, and so they taught Kundalini practice, raising practices, and while we were doing that, they did warn us that in the astral realm there are creatures that'll attack you, but we have the ability to rise to higher realms, higher consciousness realms, and these creatures cannot follow
because we
us
still
there.
have corporeal bodies. We're still in the physical being. We still have the silver cord. We have the ability because we still are grounded to the earth, so we have more power than they have.
That might be one good method of ditching, ditching bad entities that might attack or attach themselves to you.
Well, what I usually do, so like when I do paranormal investigations here at home, because I have activity here at home, I ground myself first. And there is a way that I was taught by a witch to ground myself. And so I do that. And then I use, I have my obsidian and I have the other crystals that I've got. I have my, you can't really see it, but I have my altar table here and stuff. And, but it's just, I was taught to ground myself, use protection, and use a protection spell. But, I've been, did you guys have Deborah Roku on yet? Had you, because Deborah was part of Farah's thing, remember? Yeah. So I had a medium reading with Deborah, and she actually helped me out a lot.
Really?
She actually, she told me I have two guides. I have an angel and I have a familiar that's always with me. And she actually taught me a lot. Like it was a very emotional medium reading that we had. She got actually kind of very emotional and started crying, and I cried. But she actually ended up telling me that I am clairvoyant, and that which explains a lot of the things that I do see that I can't explain. Yeah. Like I try to tell people and I'm like, oh, you probably just think I'm psycho, or I'm mentally disturbed. And, I don't know how to explain some of the things I see. I just know I see them, and some come in very, very clear. And sometimes it's a little kind of like they morph. It like morphs into visions that I'm seeing. So I don't know. I'm just trying to work on those abilities. And then I'm also working on reading people's auras. That's my new thing that I wanted to start learning. So
you can actually see them yourself?
Some people. I'm still learning. That's not, there's just, you have to open yourself up. But I am really big on, I don't do anything when I have too much negativity around me, because it's not good. I make sure I do things when I can clear myself, cleanse myself, because anytime I do my witchcraft, even there's a process that I go through, because I want to be clean. I want to have a clear mind, an open mind, and not have negative things, around me or through my head. And
Right.
so right now it's just kind of things have been a little chaotic in my home. So I just kind of been putting some things on hold. And once I have a different situation, then I'll be able to get back into the things that I want to be in, and practice again, because I haven't been able to.
Yeah, it's rough when the world gets crazy.
Yeah, when I get the precog or the clairvoyance, they're very clear to me. The most recent one was just, I think it was back in July or August of last year. It was August, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was August. It was 2 days before the guy who came over to do the documentary that we did called Who They Are, which is on YouTube. And the only time I'd ever met this guy was on July the 4th of last year, and, when we were closing up our booth in Big Bear. And he just said, I do documentaries, and I'd like to do a documentary on you guys, so I didn't know him from Adam, right? So
Yeah.
2 days before he showed up at our house, I had this dream. Well, it wasn't a dream. It was literally like I was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was at the table with me at our
Okay.
house, the glass table, and we were sitting on opposite sides. And he said two very specific things. He said that he was going to be going to Arizona. He had a strong pull to go to Arizona, and that he had trouble with his left shoulder area. It was giving him pain. And so I wrote this stuff down, and I asked Leslie, I said, when he shows up, ask him these two things. I said, I'm not going to do any mentalism or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just ask him these two things. And sure enough, he said, yep, he has to go to Arizona, almost like after he did this thing,
His
right?
next project.
His
yeah.
next project.
Wow.
And he had some pretty good pain going on his left side because he'd been overdoing it on his push-ups. So these were two very, very specific things, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does come in weird little flashes like that.
Yeah.
And, I had one about a neighbor that used to live here, too, where, well, I won't go into details because it's kind of a little personal, but it was,
Right.
she was basically trying to get away from her ex-husband, and I did not even know that was even an issue, but it was scary. And this guy, the way he looked and the way he dressed and the way he sounded, this was the guy. Okay.
Yeah,
And,
the ex-husband that was
I've had several of them.
tracking her, yeah.
I knew who was going to win the 2000, presidential election, unfortunately. But anyway, I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
It's
got a flash of it, before
A year and a half
year and a
before.
half before, and
Wow.
and
It was very specific. Very
it's
specific.
interesting because
Yep.
the things that I've seen, there was one night, literally, all of a sudden I just saw this woman's face. She's an older woman, and she had short hair, but I could see her face just very clearly. And I was just like, why am I seeing this? Some of the things that I'm seeing, I'm trying to figure out, why am I seeing it? Is it something that happened in the past, or is it something that's going to happen in the future or present? So that I'm
Right.
still learning how to use the ability of being clairvoyant. Another time, this one really, I'm really trying to figure this one out. So I literally could see 2 paragraphs of words that were spelled with ancient writing. And I was like, but it was I'm trying. So sometimes when I'm seeing things, it happens so fast. And then sometimes it's a little slow. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but it just, I don't know how to explain it. And these are the things that I'm trying to learn and understand because of all the things that, I have been seeing. The other night I saw a little girl. She was holding her bike. She had pigtails and she had a little basket, like the old time, back in the
Yeah.
day when they would have the woven baskets and
You
stuff.
go
And
pick
she
berries
closed,
all the time. Yeah.
yeah,
Something.
and she closed her lid on the basket, but then it's like she just went like a mist, just disappeared. And I'm like, okay, why did I see that? what was that
Yeah.
supposed to mean? Like, you know, so it's just, I'm still trying to learn and understand. And
There are certain vibrational frequencies that you can chant that will open up and help to tune your, clairvoyance.
Yeah,
You know,
the top crown chakra with the that high.
Okay.
As soon as you feel your forehead kind of buzzing, you know you're on
it's
the
about
right
700.
frequency.
I think it's 762 cycles per
Some
second,
hertz, yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's ways. But if you feel the cranial plate when you go if you just do it just the right tone, you'll feel it vibrating.
Yeah.
What that does, that activates the 6th and the 7th chakra, and that helps you with becoming clearer with your
The third
with your
eye,
practices.
the third eye chakra and the crown chakra are so close to each other
Yeah.
that they kind of buzz as one, and it definitely opens up the ability of clairvoyance more than
Right.
That's
There's
the main one for that,
clairaudience,
yeah.
which is more the
that's the throat chakra.
yeah, that's kind of creepy actually.
Yeah, I didn't like that one because I started hearing into the astral realm during the waking state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, work.
I'd be work typing, and somebody would speak right behind me. I mean, right behind me, and I turned fully expecting to see a human standing there, and there's just nothing there, and it kept happening, and it sort of creeped me out of just doing the whole thing. I sort of stopped chanting about then, and
yeah, it's like when you learn to open up a door, you also have to learn how to close it too.
Yes.
And that's the thing about
Yeah.
children have this in spades. I mean, they have it way over us as adults.
They say we
have so
close
much
down
other
as we get older,
so much other baggage that we have to deal with. We have more experience, but they have the natural ability and talent.
Yeah.
And I really find that we're really not doing our kids any favors by not. We should teach them this kind of stuff. We may not necessarily understand it ourselves, but things like like I've said, I always proselytize about this on our show. Teach them Tai Chi, teach them how to chant, teach them how to meditate, and teach them how to read a book before you put them in front of a computer. I mean, all those things, we would have a completely different society. Completely different,
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. No, I agree with you on that. I know I like to read. I don't know how I'm managing all the stuff I'm managing at this point, even writing my own short stories now, which is very therapeutic for me. It's been very therapeutic. So,
writing is cool.
Writing puts you in alpha state.
Yeah, it does.
Puts you in alpha state. If you're doing it by hand, like on a piece of paper, puts you in alpha state. It really does.
Yeah, I'm actually just typing it out. Like I'll sit and I just start like my head or my thoughts are just like a hamster wheel just going. And so I just start typing and then I'll edit and do this and do that, and so it's just but no, it's just, and like I mentioned earlier, is like I'm trying to think outside the box. What kind of story could I tell that maybe nobody's heard of this cryptid or this story before, and so, and just like with my episodes, I really need to, for my podcast, I really need to start doing things out of the box, and because I've just done too much paranormal episodes, so I really need to like go beyond that. So, and I've got some people lined up. I've got a witch lined up that's coming on. And then, like I mentioned, I've got a couple guys that are coming on. One wrote a book, Breakfast with Bigfoot. So I'm having him on. So yeah, it's, I'm trying to get out there, with different topics.
We just had our first co-author of a UFO alien abduction book.
Okay.
Hers is a fiction. And but it was a really good story. It was called The Taking with Donna Massey. But this is your show. But I just thought I'd give Donna a quick plug there because it was a really good book. And it was our first time having a fellow author.
It's probably a good time to take another break here pretty soon.
All right. We'll be back in a few moments, everyone. Thank you, and see you very soon.
Leslie, you're kidding me.
What?
Our merchandise store is up?
Of course, my darling. All of our amazing concepts of shirts, mugs, and bumper stickers are ready to go.
No way.
Way.
Even my brilliant Egyptian concept that no one else ever thought of before?
Yes, that one too, and lots more. All at our new store at etsy.com/shop/abductions101.
Wow. I want a shirt and a mug and...
Well, Stephen, and all our curious listeners, just go to etsy.com/shop/abductions101 to see all of our unique designs.
I'm going there.
And we're back. Thanks for hanging in there, everybody.
Okay.
You still there, Cyndi?
Oh yeah,
Oh, good.
definitely here.
Thanks. So, tell us what your latest Bigfoot.
Your next.
No, it was I was going to ask the latest thing, but the news that prompted you to go into making an episode about it.
So after being on the NCI show and talking with these gentlemen who spend a lot of time out in the woods, and they have amazing stories. Like, I'm still learning so much about them and learning so much more of what's actually out there.
What's happening to them in the when they go out?
Well, they have paranormal experiences as well. Orbs. They, like I mentioned, they have found evidence of Bigfoot. Obviously, the castings of the feet and stuff, and the other things that their the nesting, or the trees that are turned upside down and stuff like that.
Yeah, isn't that wild? I mean, imagine the strength necessary to jerk a tree out of the ground, and turn it upside down and stuff it back in,
Or even just the I guess they call them markers, where they take the tree branches, if I can talk, and they put them up on another tree, and it's like a marker, I guess.
Like almost like a little shelter that they're making where it goes around.
Oh no, actually a marker, like marking.
It is, yeah. I think that's what yeah. So, but there's, and in the Appalachian Mountains, there's so much out there, and I'm still like just being new to the show too, and we've got a couple of new guys that are on the show. Like, again, we're talking tonight. I actually have a show tonight at 5. And we're going to talk about the Wood Witch again, and some more evidence that one of our guys is going to be bringing on and stuff like that. So be learning more about that as well. But yeah, it's just exciting. I've always kind of just like aliens, when I had you guys on, I was kind of on the fence, but then your book totally changed my mind about it, your book goes is so deep. Your book is so deep. And it really, it's funny because after I read your book, I'm seeing things either online or on TV, and I'm like, oh my God, the Shaws talk about this, and I get all excited.
That thing. Oh yeah, I've heard of that thing. Yeah.
And so
it is, the first chapter does kind of had to be a crash course, so that even if a non-UFO, even if somebody who knew nothing about UFOs picked up the book, they would at least get
the intro was what really was the impetus for us to even write the book in the first place.
Yeah, the preface of the book is we kind of wanted to share our personal experiences,
Yeah, mine with my family goes back at least 4 generations, and from Germany to England to California, and multiple different residents, places that had never been lived in by anybody else, places that we built. This stuff has followed, 4 generations of people, and throughout, and, it just wasn't making sense that it was a haunting. It just wasn't making sense, especially when all those coins were magnetized in my pocket, when I was 18 years of age. And my dad and I could pick them both up.
Philip saw him as a gray alien one time, a tall gray alien.
Yeah, my uncle his life was saved when he was in the Royal Air Force. Stationed overseas.
So that's the thing, is we're trying to hash it all out. What hauntings are our dearly departed loved ones, what kind of paranormal activity is the demonic kind of thing where people actually get scratched or attacked, and what is alien abductions? Which one is,
Right.
because and then there's the astral experiences where people we think suffer from that sleep paralysis. I think they're partially seeing into the astral realm, and you can see all kinds of weird stuff in the astral realm.
But sleep paralysis is definitely different than astral travel. They're not the same thing.
They're similar.
They're similar, but they're not the same.
You still access both with in the hypnagogic state.
Well, when you're astral traveling, you actually know you can astral travel. When you're in sleep paralysis, you're just getting attacked.
Yeah,
and you don't have power.
the education on how
you
to
don't have the education. It's totally different.
Body separating.
Right. They get really confused a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Do you ever do astral work, Cyndi?
You guys, it's just funny that you just asked me that, because it just made me think of the things that I've been seeing. And, it's something that I probably have to look into and understand a little bit more. But some of the things that I have seen, I've gone way back to pirate era, where I talked to a witch about this, and I told her what I was seeing. She goes, "Have you flown?" And I said, "Well, I was floating right next to a pirate ship, and I can see the pirates on the ship. I could smell the ocean. I could feel the breeze." And, then the ship was just beautiful, and it had the fancy front of it. It wasn't a lady. I'm trying to remember what it was, but I know that I saw the wood of the ship. It was very, very nicely done and everything. It seemed like a new ship, sort of, that I remember, but I just know I saw the pirates on the ship. I was floating next to the ship. And then it went into another scene where another thing that I saw was this beautiful white home and I was going through the backyard, and there was an archway that had vines going through the arch. And I went through, and the flowers were just so bright and beautiful. And it was just absolutely, and I'm like, going through it. But then when I came eventually to, and I was like, whoa, why am I seeing this stuff?
Past life, maybe, or regression, perhaps,
That's what she mentioned. She mentioned that could have been your past life. And I was like, I don't know, but this is, I'm telling you, it's so strange to me lately. It's just because everything's so clear. Like I'm there. And it's just been blowing me away.
Do you talk with them and shake hands or have physical interaction? You said you had smells, right?
Yeah, I can smell.
Okay.
No talking yet.
Yeah, talking is very common in mine, almost all the time.
I remembered it always felt like I was in a twilight. It wasn't. Yeah, it always felt like whenever I went into the astral realm, it seemed like it was in a twilight mode.
It occurs in the twilight.
Yeah.
It always occurs in twilight.
Yeah, I was always attracted to the ocean because I always kind of wanted to scuba dive, but ever since I was a young kid, I've had trouble with my eardrums, and it just wasn't going to happen. And so as soon as I'm at astral, it's like that's the first thing I do is rush over to the ocean and dive in, and because you can't drown, you can't be eaten by a shark, your regulator can't fail, kind of positive.
Do you also feel sensations, or do you hear sounds thunder or whatever it may be?
Well, like I mentioned, when I was floating next to the pirate ship, I could feel I could feel the breeze of the air.
Good.
It's like I was floating with the ship, but I wasn't on the ship. I was next to the ship, and I was just floating next to it. But I could see them. I couldn't hear, but I could feel the breeze, and I could feel like it was. I felt like the sorry, I get a little. I felt like water hitting me, the wind hitting me, stuff like that.
Spray, kind of.
Yes, the ocean spray. Thank you. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah, next time you're in one of those states where you're like
Yeah.
seeing something, and if you can be lucid enough to say like, well, this can't be real, and then
Yeah.
you can either do a couple things like Castaneda would say, like this,
Try
force
looking
yourself,
at your own
look at your
hands,
palms of your hands,
Yeah,
force
Okay.
yourself to look at the palms of your hands,
Okay.
or you can just like you say, dream be gone. Say this can't be
Okay.
happening.
Yeah.
Let's say you're going through a supermarket in a shopping cart. Somebody's pushing you in as an adult in a shopping
Yeah.
cart, which happened to me once, and people that I knew, and I said, well, this has to be a dream. And so I basically
Yeah.
dissolved the dream, and then I was in the astral realm,
One of
and then I decided to I wanted to like fly over Los Angeles. So.
remember they taught us how to jump in the
Yes,
dream too.
yes.
Oh.
And I used that a few times. I remember one time dreaming, and my ex-husband was there, and right there, that was like unusual, and
Yeah.
and then somebody walks up and is talking to us who I know to be dead. So that's when I realized I have to be dreaming, and if you can jump during it, you'll actually fly. And as soon as
Okay.
you fly, then you can do one of two things. You can have a lucid dream, and those are fun. That's where you kind of make the dream up yourself as you go.
Yeah.
Or you can, demand the dream be gone, literally that way. Just dream be gone, and it kind of
Right.
wafts away like smoke,
And then all
and
of a
you'll
sudden,
find yourself flying around your own room, or
And then
or
you-
above your house or
and
something.
then
you
whatever
know?
whatever is your greatest desire, like for Leslie, it's always been she's always wanted to go like scuba diving, right? So for her, what we do when she got into that state, she said, I want to
Yeah.
go scuba diving. And that's exactly where she went.
Yeah.
She went into the ocean.
It's a very emotional state, the astral body. It's not,
Yeah.
it's hard to get it to do math or stuff,
Yeah.
No,
like,
and you can't don't try and move your arms or your legs. You just use mental commands.
at first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
after a while, you can sense the difference between the physical
Yeah,
body
it's like
and the
learning how to
astral
ride a
body.
bike.
Yeah.
It's something that you don't just like master right away. It is a skill. Actually, it's a skill.
Yeah.
In fact, like even telepathy. Telepathy is actually like doing simple math compared to like what we're doing right now. We're doing calculus compared to what telepathy is. Telepathy is simple. It's simplistic. It's what we all have the ability to do as
Yeah.
children, okay? But we lose that ability.
Yeah.
I mean, we're taught that, oh no, you have to like draw stuff, or you have to like do language, and then you have to like, do sentences, and you have to read books, and then you have to like work with a computer. We're so far away from the areas of the brain that are naturally there.
Yeah.
It's basically like the appendix of the brain. Telepathy is basically it's not being used, but it is it's the most simplistic way, and it's the most it's the easiest way to communicate.
We think our alien cousins, because whenever, the people are taken, they're communicated with telepathically, right? So we
Yeah.
think that it's kind of a human birthright that has atrophied in us,
Right.
but it's something they've kept up, and that's why they're able to communicate with us. And
Yeah.
I think they have to have similar brains to do it too. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's
They have to have similar brains,
Yeah.
and also through similar bodies. That's why they can breed with us. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's my main reason for thinking that they're more like cousins than they are anything else. Because we're actually talking about, sometimes they use in vitro fertilization, but a lot of times it's just sex. They're having,
it's only scientifically
Yeah.
reasonable that they are.
and if you're having sex with us and making babies, I'm pretty sure you have to be close to us, pretty close. For it to work.
99.997%. Otherwise, you don't get viable, offspring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in your guys' opinion then, like for, because you look at somebody, on TV or whatever, and something's interesting about something they do. Do you think some of our like actors, actresses are alien like or government officials?
I would not.
I mean, I kind of wonder.
I would not put that out of the realm of possibility. I would not. I would not at all. I mean, there's been stuff
Yeah.
floating around like the bushes were reptiloids. that was going back 30, 40 years, but this stuff has been floating around, and certainly, people are shapeshifters and able to, like, change their identity. And
Yeah.
I certainly would not put it out of the realm of possibility.
People, the aliens that most people see, a lot of people think it's the Greys, but really, the Nordic aliens, the ones that are basically
52.
indistinguishable from Swedish humans, they make up 52% of sightings. So it's actually the majority. And we think that, we don't know for sure what all the hybrids are, the other alien types, but one thing we do know is they're all bipedal hominids. And the little Greys tend to act kind of robotic, so we don't really know if they're possibly a constructed beings, or genetically engineered as worker beings, perhaps.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff floating around that the reptiloids have actually been here a lot longer than we have, and that their natural habitat is really under Earth to start with.
Well, that's what they're claiming anyway.
That's what they're claiming.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So tell our audience one more time where they can see your new shows, and we'll let you get going because you have to go to another show in a few minutes.
Yeah, I got to go to the NCI show now.
Okay, tell us, like I said, real quick, where they can find your show.
Yeah, so Coven of Curiosity podcast and short stories. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. At Instagram, it's at Coven Curiosity _podcast_SS. It's the only way that I could, have my full name on there. And then Facebook is just Coven of Curiosity podcast, and same with TikTok. And then, of course, I'm on Threads. That's really easy to find because it's just Coven of Curiosity podcast as well.
Cool.
And the TV shows one more time.
Yeah. So the NCI, which is North Carolina Investigators, and then Body Slamming Conversations. You can find us on it's the channel 12 TV network. And right now they're streaming at, or there's stream on a lot of platforms that you can find us on. But right now the subscription is $9.99 a month for the rest of the year. And then that's how you can watch. I mean, there's all kinds of different shows that's offered.
Right. It's a whole network of shows, right?
Yeah. But those are the two shows that I'm currently on. And then I became editor-in-chief of the magazine that's going to be developed and along with the newsletter that I'll be doing for the NCI team. So we can
great.
Excellent work. And we'll thank you so much for being our guest and for making the time for us and squeezing us in.
No, I was honored that you asked me. I was like, of course, yes,
of course, exactly.
I talk about you guys all the time. I'm like, you got to check out their book.
Thank you.